the fuck did I just watch?
I'm here because we need your help.
Very busy today. No time to help you.
Across the multiverse, I've seen thousands of Evelyns. You can access all their memories, their emotions, even their skills. There's a great evil spreading throughout the many verses. And you may be our only chance of stopping it.
I honestly don't even know where to start with this film. Imagine you're having the worst day of your life, but that worst day has been going on for years. You're tired, you're stressed, you're second guessing every choice you've ever made, and you honestly feel like life has passed you by and you've blown every single opportunity that may have ever come your way. Sorry, suddenly feeling a little bit triggered. Kick-ass Asian actress and powerhouse Michelle Yeoh plays Evelyn, a woman who is right there in that situation and then some. Her elderly father is telling her she's no good, her 20-something daughter is pissed off and hurt that her mother won't acknowledge her lifestyle by letting her bring her girlfriend to a family event, and her husband has secret divorce papers he's loath to give her as he still absolutely adores her but has reached his limit on her negativity. Oh yeah, and she's getting audited by the IRS, represented by Scream Queen Jamie Lee Curtis, who is quite possibly playing her most terrifying role ever and having a blast with it. So, in the middle of all of this, agents from across the multiverse show up and tell us she's potentially the key they need to help them save, well, everything, everywhere. That's it? But that's not it. I mean, that's so not it. Because after that, it really starts getting crazy. Now, I've been a comic book fan for 30 years, so I'm completely down with the concept of the multiverse. And for some reason, the multiverse is going to play a big part in a lot of upcoming big budget fare. Having already been the catalyst for Spider-Man, twice, and the Loki show, but also being the plot points behind the upcoming Doctor Strange film and next year's Flash movie. If Ezra Miller can behave himself for like 20 minutes, that is. The thing about these stories is that they're usually just tales of special people being special in a slightly different way. Whether it's a Nazi version or a steampunk version or a Gwen Stacy version. But this time, the focus is on the most unremarkable person ever. In fact, it winds up being that of all the versions of Evelyn across all of the multiverse, this is the worst one. There is no version of her that has ever made more bad decisions or wasted their life as much as our main character. Okay, slightly triggered again. In different hands, this story would have just become some dopey sci-fi flick, destined for the deep recesses of Tubi. But directors Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert, who call themselves the Daniels, managed to turn it into so much more. After all the crazy multiverse exposition and getting the basic story sorted out, the film does this backflip into an incredibly emotional story about families. Yeah, this movie is a goddamn trip. It took me a while to get into it. I might have just been in a bad mood, but I really was starting to regret coming out to see it. But wave after wave of emotion was hitting me as we went along, resulting in some pretty heavy hits closer to the climax. I choked up more than once, I'm not afraid to say. Michelle does a great job as Evelyn. All the Evelyns. And even though, just by the very nature of the theme, there are dozens of versions of her, she gives them all the same feeling of grounding needed for that particular version. The woman can still kick ass with the best of them, but it's in the emotional scenes that she really shines. Some of her best moments are showing just how broken by life this woman is. And even though at times she's an absolute bitch, a part of you always feels a little bit bad for her. Stephanie Hsu does a great turn as Evelyn's daughter Joy. There's not a lot I can say about her that doesn't spoil things, but when the emotion between the two ramps up towards the end, you better believe that you feel it. The wonderful James Hong is always a delight to see on screen, and he does a great job of being a domineering and disappointed father and grandfather. Hell, I was feeling a little guilty about some of my life choices when he started firing up. Jamie Lee Curtis plays antagonist IRS auditor Deirdre, and she looks like she's having a lot of fun. You've got to give Jamie credit, as she is not afraid to go ugly. And I'm not talking Nicole Kidman fake nose so I can win an Oscar type ugly here. No. This is fake fat gut and saggy boobs and a haircut that's more Karen than Karen and just a delight at being completely mean. But then she bounces around and winds up doing a turn and shows a lot of heart. But the biggest delight that I was saving till last is the didn't realize how much you missed him return of short round himself, Ki Hu Kwan. Where the fuck has he been all this time? It's been like 30 years since we saw him in anything, and he's still just the same sweet kid. His turn as a husband and father who just seems to love his life, regardless of the turns it has taken, is so endearing and heartwarming. And I'm sure they used a couple of his Temple of Doom and Goonie sound bites in there at some point. I'm still trying to get my head around this film, but it was sweet, and crazy and funny and weird and wild. It has the most emotional scene between two rocks I've ever seen in a film. Seriously, just two rocks on a cliff. It's got that sort of crazy energy that you don't even question it. You know, I get into a lot of arguments with people who like to blame things like the Marvel movies for destroying cinema. They're not. In fact, more than anything, they have kept cinema going. But the trade-off for those big budget franchise blockbusters should be that there is still room for crazy stuff like this. You can make your money with Spider-Man and Doctor Strange, but take some of that money and put it into weird, inventive, smaller stuff like this. This will never do the same business as the other, but you don't need it to. Just as long as we still get to go a little nuts now and then, and watch Michelle Yeoh and Jamie Lee Curtis slap the shit out of each other with hot dog fingers. I'm not explaining that, you're going to have to go and see it.